Now, the astute motion students among you will notice something is bugging your eyes, and that is that the shadow tween is not eased in the way that the ball is eased. So if you just watch the shadow, you'll see it's on its own cycle that's different from the ball bounce. It doesn't have that sproing that comes from changing the spacing. So what we're going to need to do is to change the easing of that shadow so it doesn't just do a straight ahead tween. So just as we said, you have to have the item selected on the stage in order to adjust its filters like this. It's the opposite for when you want to adjust the easing on it. Because right now I've got the item selected on the stage, but I can't change the easing. But once I get off of it and get into the timeline and click on one of the keyframes, without clicking it on the stage, I get the tweening option over here in Properties. So if you want to change the tweening, just select your frames in the timeline and you can change the tweening. If you want to change filters or alpha effects or color effects, then you have to click the item on the stage to get filters. But we want to change the tween. So okay, go here, tweening, and so this is the top of the bounce. So we want this tween curve, ease curve, to mimic what the ball itself was doing. This is the shadow. So now we're adjusting the rate at which the shadow is going to change. And the reason we can do this is because we're using this use one setting for all properties. If you uncheck that, you can set different eases for your position, your rotation, and all that other kind of stuff, which is nice. You can actually ease filters and color effects too, which is very powerful. But since we don't have a position key set for the shadow, we'll just use this one size fits all. Okay, so we want the rate of change, it's very small at the beginning, and we want it to stay small early on. So that means don't change very much. And if you remember from the ball bounce, it should look just the same. So slow rate of change, and then fast rate of change as it makes the hit. And then for this key, we'll skip these two because these are just, since they're frame by frame here, it doesn't matter. Easing won't have any effect because it's just switching to the next picture immediately. But we'll skip over to this keyframe and we'll do the opposite. So this is coming off of the ground, so we want to have a fast rate of change coming off the ground, and we want it to slow up as it reaches the top of the arc, just like that. And now our shadow more convincingly follows the flight of the ball, and it's not just on its own cycle. So the shadow has easing as well as the ball having easing. And I think that'll do it for our kind of groovy special effects lesson here.